The Servant by S.T. Semyonov. Gerasim returned to Moscow just at a time when it was hardest to find work. Shortly before Christmas, when a man staked even to a poor job in the expectation of a present. For 3 weeks, the peasant lad had been going about in vain, seeking a position. He stayed with relatives and friends from his village, and although he had not yet suffered great want, it disheartened him that he, a strong young man, should go without work. Gerasim had lived in Moscow from early boyhood. When still a mere child, he had gone to work in a brewery as a bottle washer and later as a lower servant in a house. In the last 2 years, he had been in a merchant's employ and would still have held the position had he not been summoned back to his village for a military duty. However, he had not yet been drafted. It seemed dull to him in the village. He was not used to the country life, so he decided he would rather count the stone in Moscow than stay there. Every minute, it was getting to be more and more irksome for him to be tramping the street in idleness. Not a stone did he leave unturned in his effort to secure any sort of work. He plagued all of his acquaintances. He even held up people on the street and asked them if they knew of a situation, all in vain. Finally, Gerasim could no longer being a burden on his people. Some of them were annoyed by his coming to them, and others had suffered an unpleasantness from their master on his account. He was altogether at a loss on what to do. Sometimes he would go a whole day without eating. One day, Gerasim betook himself to a friend from his village who lived at the extreme outer edge of Moscow, near Sokolnik. The man was coachman to a merchant by the name of Sharov, in whose service he had been for many years. He had ingratiated himself with his master, so that Sharov trusted him absolutely and gave every sign of holding him in high favor. It was the man's glib tongue, chiefly, that had gained him his master's confidence. He told on all the servants, and Sharov valued him for it. Gerasim approached and greeted him. Because the coachman gave his guest a proper reception, served him with tea and something to eat, and asked him how he was doing. "Very badly, Yegor Danilovich," said Gerasim. "I've been without a job for weeks." "Didn't you ask your older employer to take you back?" "I did." "He wouldn't take you again?" "The position was filled already." "That's it. That's the way you young fellows are. You serve your employer so-so, and when you leave your job, you usually have muddied up the way back to them. You ought to serve your master so that they will think a lot of you, and when you come again, they will not refuse you, but rather dismiss the man who has taken your place." "How can a man do that? In these days, there aren't any employers like that, and we aren't exactly angels either." "What's the use of wasting words? I just want to tell you about myself. If for some reason or other I should ever have to leave this place or go home, not only would Mr. Sheriff, if I come back, take me again without a word, but he would glad to too." Gerasim sat there downcast. He saw his friend was boasting, and it occurred to him to gratify him. "I know it," he said. "But it's hard to find men like you, Yegor Danilovich. If you were a poor worker, your master would not have kept you for 12 years. Yegor smiled. He liked the praise. "That's it," he said. "If you were to live and serve as I do, you wouldn't be out of work for months and months." Gerasim made a reply. Yegor was summoned by his master. "Wait a moment," he said. "I'll be right back." "Very well." Yegor came back and reported that inside of half an hour he would have to have the horses harnessed, ready to drive his master to town. He lighted his pipe and took several turns in the room. Then he came into halt in front of Gerasim. "Listen, my boy," he said. "If you want, I'll ask my master to take you as a servant here." "Does he need a man?" "We have one, but he's not much good. He's getting old, and it's very hard for him to do the work. It's lucky for us that the neighborhood isn't a lively one, and the police don't make a fuss about things being kept just so. Else, the old man could not manage the place clean enough for them." "Oh, if you can, then please do say a word for me, Igor Danilich. I pray for you all my life. I can't stand being without work any longer." "All right, I'll speak for you. Come again tomorrow, and in the meantime, take this 10 kopeck piece. It may come in handy." "Thanks, Igor Danilich. Then you will try for me? Please do me a favor." "All right, I'll try for you." Gerasim left, and Yegor harnessed up his horses. Then he put on his coachman's habit and drove up to the front door. Master Sheriff stepped off the house. Sheriff seated himself in sleigh, and the horses galloped off. He attended to his business in town, and he turned home. Yegor, observing that his master was in a good humor, said to him, "Yegor Fyodorich, I have a favor to ask you." "What is it?" "There's a young man from my village, a good boy. He's without a job." "Well, won't you take him?" "What I want him for? Use him as a man of work from around the place." "How about Polycarpich? What good is he? It's about time you dismissed him." "That wouldn't be fair. He has been with me for so many years. I can't let him go just so without any cause." "Supposing he had worked for you for years?" "He didn't work for nothing. He got paid for it." He certainly saved up a few dollars for his old age." "Saved up? How could he? From what? He's not alone in this world. He has a wife to support, and she has to eat and drink also. His wife earns money too, at this work as charwoman. A lot she could make. Enough for us. Why should you care about Polycarpich and his wife? To tell you the truth, he's a very pure servant. Why shouldn't you throw your money away on him? He never shovels the snow away on time or does anything right. And when it comes his turn to be night watchman, he sleeps away at least 10 times a night. It's too cool for him. You'll see, someday, because of him, you will have trouble with the police. The quarterly inspector will descend on us, and it won't be so agreeable for you to be responsible for Polycarpich. Still, it's pretty rough. He's been with me for 15 years, and to treat him that way in his old age, it would be a sin." "A sin? Why? What harm would you be doing him? He won't starve. He'll go to the almshouse. It will be better for him too to quiet in his old age." Sheriff reflected. "All right," he said to me. "Bring your friend here. I'll see what I can do." "You take him, sir. I'm so sorry for him. He's a good boy, and he's been without work for such a long time. I know he'll do his work well and serve you faithfully. On account of having to report for his military duty, he lost his last position. If it hadn't been for that, his master would never let him go." The next evening, Gerasim came again and asked, "Well, could you do anything for me?" "Something, I believe. First, let him some tea. Then we'll go see my master." Even tea had no allurement for Gerasim. He was eager for decision. But under the accomplishment of politeness to his host, he gulped down 2 glasses of tea, and then they betook themselves to Sheriff. Sheriff asked Gerasim where he had lived before and what work he could do. Then he told him he was prepared, engaged as a man of all work, and he should come back the next day ready to take the place. Gerasim was fairly stunned by the good stroke of fortune. So overwhelming was his joy that his leg could scarcely carry him. He went to the coachman's room and Yegor said to him, "Well, my lad, see to it that you do your work right, so that I shan't have to be ashamed of you. You know what masters are like. If run at once, they'll be at you forever, after with his fault finding, and never give you peace." Don't worry about that, Yegor Danovich. Well. Gerasim took leave, crossing the yard to go out by the gate. Polikarpych's rooms gave on the yard, and a broad beam of light from the window fell across Gerasim's way. He was curious as to get a glimpse of his future home, and the panes were all frosted over, and it was impossible to peep through. However, he could hear what the people inside are saying. "What do we do now?" was said in a woman's face. I don't know. A man, undoubtedly Polikarpych, replied. "Go begging, I suppose." "That's all we can do. There's nothing else left," said the woman. "Oh, we poor people, what a miserable life we lead. We work and work from early morning till late at night, day after day, and we get old, then it's away with you. What can we do? Our master is not one of us. It will not be worth to him to say so much. All the masters are so mean. They don't think of anyone but themselves. It doesn't occur to them that we work for them honestly and faithfully for years and use up our best strength in their training service. They're afraid to keep us a year longer. Even though we've got all the strength, we need to do their work. If we weren't strong enough, we'd go off our own record." The master not so much to blame as his coachman. Yegor Danovich wants to get a position for his friends. "Yes, he's a servant. He knows how to wag his tongue. You wait, you fool muttered piece. I'll get even with you. I go straight to the master and tell him how the fellow deceives him, how he steals the hay and fodder. I'll put it down in writing, and he can convince himself how the fellow's lied about us all." "Don't, old woman, don't sin." "Sin? Isn't what I said all true? I know how to adopt what I'm saying, and I mean to tell it straight out to the master. He shall see with his own eyes." "Why not? What can we do now anyhow? Where shall we go? He's ruined us. The old woman burst out sobbing. Gerasim heard all that, and it stabbed him like a dagger. He realized what miscertain he would be bringing the old people, and it made him sick at heart. He stood there a whole long while, saddened, lost in thought. Then he turned and went back into the coachman's room. "Oh, you forgot something?" "No, Yegor Danovich," Gerasim stammered out. "I've come. Listen, I want to thank you ever and ever so much for the way you received me and all the trouble you took for me, but I can't take the place." "What? What does that mean?" "Nothing. I don't want the place. I'll look for another one myself." Yegor flew into rage. "Did you mean to make a fool of me? Did you idiot? You come here so meek. Try for me, and then you refuse to take the place. You rascal, you have disgraced me." Gerasim found nothing to say in reply. He reddened, and he lowered his eyes, and Yegor turned his back scornfully and said nothing more. Then Gerasim quietly picked up his cape and left the coachman's room. He crossed the yard rapidly, went out by the gate, and hurried up down the street. He felt happy and light-hearted. That's all from me, Yolanda Puteri Madani, from 70 DC. Thank you.